one of the things that we are pushing over in the month of January are movie soundtracks. It is amazing how much some people don't watch the movies, but the soundtracks became such a mainstay. I recently saw a poll that featured Waiting to Exhale. It featured what else was it? Purple Rain. I also featured Superfly by Curtis Mayfield. The Waiting to Exhale and Purple Rain were both tied at 42%, while Superfly was about 7%. And you know, and I think, and I remember, I don't know if you remember, Ice-T had an album. I can't remember what the album was. Came out in 1990 or no, and he sampled a lot of Colors. Yes, Colors.
Yeah.
And that's how I got introduced to that Curtis Mayfield album, because it was, you know, it was much before my time. But listening to I'm a Pimp and all that stuff from that album, and then I went back and
I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley. Don't get me started.
That album, the Ice-T album was massive in Nigeria. But then I'm like, who's he sampling? Where's this from? And that's how I got into the Curtis Mayfield album. And it was like, wow, the massive album. But you know, I don't know. We went the polls are always about celebration of music, because it's about remembering, like, wow, we didn't know that. So there's no winners or losers. But sometimes it's like, wow, you kind of forget this was proper music. Curtis Mayfield was sadly car accident and his life ended short. But what are your thoughts? I mean, when you think of Purple Rain against Waiting to Exhale, and people still sing Waiting to Exhale.
I mean, honestly, you can't forget something you never discovered in the first place. I think some people just don't. Outside, somebody made a really good comment that I responded to, and they said, "No, Omar, I think that people are just voting according to their era. Yeah. So they are familiar with the '90s. They're not familiar with anything before that. You know, and it's no fault of their own. I'm not like coming down on them. Luckily for me, I had a family that exposed me to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s kind of music. I also took music theory in college. So it's a lot of different things that's exposed me to a lot of things. So it's not fair to, for me to have an opinion like that, like, oh, why don't you know this? But I would say to the people that keep complaining about the music of today, maybe go back and discover some of that music that your parents were listening to. Remember your parents when they was rolling their eyes at that Keith Sweat and rolling their eyes at that Bobby Brown playing or Jodeci. When they was rolling their eyes, y'all, that was hot stuff to y'all. But in their time and era, there were other groups like the Dramatics or the Temptations or Stevie Wonder that was really doing it big. But unfortunately, like I said, with Black music, we've kind of been held back so much. It took us a long time to get to right now where all music, we all have access to music of all genres and we all can appreciate it. And there's no barriers there saying, oh, this is Black music, only Black people listen to this. So I would encourage the people, just real quick, because I know we got to get onto the thing. I would encourage people to definitely try to, if you're tired of the music you're hearing on the radio, go check out the Curtis Mayfield, go check out Donny Hathaway, go check out Roberta Flack.
Yeah, the Isaac Hayes.
Isaac
did a
Hayes.
massive,
Oh, that was a good one. We're already getting into my list. But like I said, I mean, so yeah, try to look into those things because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised because somebody said, "Oh, Waiting to Exhale, the musicality of it, and and this is the first time a singer-songwriter wrote a whole song soundtrack." I'm like, what am I hearing? Like, hello. So, but I'm just playing. Whoever wrote that. I'm just playing with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want you to explore and discover new music if you're tired of today's music. But anyway, let's get on to our lists. That's the fun part.
So I didn't want it to be in any particular order like we've done in past, just because I just think that with the soundtracks and as much as we've said all this stuff, I didn't pick anything beyond the 90s, just because.
Oh yeah, I can stick to the 90s.
No, but it's just, you can pick any genre. But I if I start off with one of my fun ones, and I actually go from one of the first ones I discovered, and that was House Party soundtrack.
Okay.
It was one of the first. So and these soundtracks, and I'm listening, are very emotional ones. So when I first, I was still in Nigeria, still in high school, and I remember watching the movie and getting the soundtrack and Yo Baby Yo. It was just so much. There was a lot of fun. It's a very different thing when you're watching. A lot of and Americans, when you guys don't recognize how much your culture was exported around the world. For us to just think, wow, is this how high school is like over there in America? And so you're listening to music and you're really getting into it. So the house party soundtrack was really the first one was really really special for me. So that's always be a favorite for me.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Are we doing 10 or 5?
5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, well that was a good one, and I agree. That house party soundtrack was definitely a game changer. It definitely everybody wanted to be at that house party. For me, I'm going to have to rearrange my list now. Okay, so I'm going to go with something that a lot of people. I'm going with some of the maybe it's not obscure, but the people that love R&B music should know these. So I'm going to go with Sprung. Sprung is an independent film. I don't know if everybody remembers that movie.
Wow.
But Tisha Campbell, who used to be in the show Martin, was in the movie.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And and this was like after she kind of left Martin and everything after that whole drama. But the movie soundtrack was really, really good. It didn't have a lot of big hits on it, but it had like Aaliyah on there, Genuine. Oh my God, Tisha Campbell and what's her name? Pam from I can't think of her name. Pam
Tisha
from
Arnold. Tisha Arnold.
Tashina Arnold.
Yeah.
Tashina Arnold. Okay, Tashina Arnold from Martin also did a duet on there. Don't Ask My Neighbor. Oh my God, it was a good. It was a lot of new artists that were introduced on that. They had The Secret Garden, I believe, on there. There was a lot of good stuff on that soundtrack. I think people who dig in the bargain bins know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
I got a lot of plays out of that one, so that's one of mine. I love that one. I had to put on the list. I don't care if nobody know it. I love that one.
Okay. Well, and I'll go another emotional.
Oh, Jay-Z's on there too. Sorry, I didn't cut you off. Jay-Z, Who You With? Who? That's the hit off of there. Jay-Z's Who You With? I love that song. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Another emotional one, a good one I connect with was New Jack City.
Ooh, I wanted to say that. That's why I was gonna say. Don't say it first, Omar. Okay, Jack. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was a big as I said, Teddy and Guy were on that.
Yes.
On that, but it was
New Jack City.
New Jack. Oh, it was amazing stuff. Christopher Williams, I'm Dreaming. Troop, For the Love of Money with OJ's. I think Ice-T was on it. It was it was I can still just see it, black and gray and stuff.
Right.
It was like, wow. So this is, this was, and I think they were getting to understand the power of proper soundtracks. It was a decent film, Nino Brown. It was a cult film, but the soundtrack to go with it was really powerful.
Right. Did you mention I'm Dreaming, Christopher Williams?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you mention I Want to Sex You Up by Color Me Bad?
I didn't realize
that was the baddest jam came off of it to me.
I didn't realize it was on that single. I didn't know that was the first time it came out and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I love that song. That was like that was CD. A big global hit. That out.
Yeah.
Yes, I wore that CD out. I loved every song on that CD. And but anyway, my next one is going to be Mo Money. So Mo Money soundtrack had
was that Luther. The Luther and Janet's Best Things in Life?
Yeah, Luther. Best thing. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah. Ralph had a track on that.
Ralph was on there.
Yeah.
Your money can't buy you love. I think that was him, right? Yeah, that was on Ralph. So that was on there.
Jimmy and Terry did most of this production of that.
They did. And then also my girl Karen Wheeler. She had that song. I adore you from Soul to Soul.
Yeah,
I love that song. I wanted her to have a successful solo career so bad. But that song I love that song. Just her voice. She's just so Yeah, I love Karen
Right.
Willer.
Wow.
That one was a good soundtrack, and I love that movie. All of the movies we so far we talked about, I love. So
Yeah. Okay. That with Damon Wayne. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Juice.
Juice. Okay.
Oh man. You still. I mean, it was a massive soundtrack. Massive soundtrack. You know, we had um Teddy and Tammy Lucas. Is it good to you? You know, one of the first times we got exposed to Tammy Lucas. Aaron Hall was on the soundtrack with "Don't Be Afraid."
Okay, right.
Yeah, I still, that was so. And I'm picking soundtracks that would just imagine, just finish it, just getting ready to finish high school, and then just and just watching these movies. Still in Nigeria, just watching American culture, but the music alongside the films, and that was a really, as I said, being a big Guy fan, and they've just broken up, and Aaron's first single after Guy was "Don't Be Afraid." Um, yeah,
Oh
this
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just that was this big, first time we're hearing, yeah. So, oh goodness, that was, yeah. So I yeah, remember that soundtrack and the CD and stuff.
Okay. So my next one is "Don't Be a Menace to Society while drinking your juice in the hood."
Yeah. That was a crazy film. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a crazy film.
That's where my boy Joe made a breakthrough. He had his first big hit with "All the Things Your Man Won't Do," and I love that song. Lost Boys was on there with, I believe it was Renee. So it was just a really good soundtrack.
Yeah,
It
it
fit
was
the
a good one.
film.
Yeah.
And it just, I love that movie. So
okay. Jason's lyric.
Okay.
Jason's lyric. Wow. Yeah, and maybe because I've watched all these films, so the films and Jason's lyric, that sense of two brothers, and it was a massive. It was a. I don't know why they don't do beautiful black films anymore. I mean that yeah, but we talk about the '90s about music, but then the films that came along as well. So we had the films and the music alongside of it, and I think people forget how much we missed that. But yeah, 187 was on there.
Right.
You would know, Black Men United.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the not 187. Forget I was a G. Forget I was a G was in not 187, but yeah, it was just, yeah, such a beautiful, powerful track, especially with the Black Men United. You would know, and the message behind
I
that.
gotta say this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let me see. Next, I'm gonna put. Oh, okay. I'll just say this one. Dangerous Minds. I don't know if anybody remembers this movie at all.
Oh, Michelle
You
Pfeiffer.
probably don't remember the movie.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer as a teacher with Coolio.
Yes. Okay. I haven't seen that movie since '95, so I don't. And it was a successful movie, but I have not revisited the movie. But it was a good movie.
Based on the Coolio, that song made the movie, because the movie
made the movie.
It was a song that
Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah.
By Coolio.
Yeah, featuring Stevie
took a
Wonder.
little old Stevie Wonder sound. Well, it's featuring LV.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
it was basically,
LV. Yeah, LV.
But I love that song. It never dies. I can listen to that song all the time. And it was just like, I remember that was like my gangster stage where I was just like, yeah, I was like, the movies that they were kind of dictating how we all, wanted to be. And I was like wearing my hip hop. I remember just vividly that time period. My baggy pants and everything. But Curiosity from Aaron Hall is on there. I love that song. Feel the Funk, Immature. So yeah, there's some good songs on there. Missy's group was on there, I believe. Sister, when Missy was in a singing group, they were and Devontae had his solo song on there, Gin and Juice. So it was a couple of things. Wendy and Lisa was on there from Prince fame. So it was an interesting soundtrack. As you can see, my list is not in order because that wouldn't have been number one or anything. But, but I love that soundtrack. I thought I would just mention that.
So I had two albums that was hard to figure out which I was going to use to round up.
Two.
One of them was Boys in the Hood, and the other was Menace to Society, because they were both. I think Boyz II Hood was the first one to really say, "Oh, you could do stuff about South Central LA. Let's all do stuff." But I'm gonna go with Menace to Society because that MC8 track, don't straight up Menace. It was such a powerful, it was such a powerful track. I mean, as I said, Boyz II Hood soundtrack was massive, but I was gonna go with Menace to Society because that was an album that, and I wasn't big into hip hop, but that album and his track and other stuff really got me going. And so that it was tough. I've compiled 120 soundtracks that will be featured over the next month, and people were laughing at Shark Tale and stuff, but soundtracks and soundtracks and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
there was some good songs on Shark Tale.
Yeah,
but
what about you? Who would you round up?
Speaking of, so okay, so I'm gonna put. I mean, you already said New Jack City, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say Hoodlum. And Hoodlum is a lesser known movie, but the soundtrack was really, really good. Big Bub was on there with his version of Zoom, a remake from the Commodores. I love that song. Erykah Badu was on there with her Certainly. What's that other song? Oh, Rashawn Patterson. He was on there. Street Life, singing a old Randy Crawford song. Well, what was it? Intruders. I can't remember the name of the group or the singer. I think it was Randy Crawford. And who else was on there? There was a lot of people on there. Chico DeBarge. It was just a really good soundtrack. I just go by soundtracks that are cohesive and have like a good vibe to them. Had a couple of one-hit wonders on there, like Davina when she had that song. I don't wanna know. I don't know the song. I can't even sing it. But people who know that name, Davina, you probably remember that song where she had Raekwon featuring as the rap on her beat. But anyway, it was a good one. So
yeah, I mean,
some honorable mentions because I got some.
Yeah, let's look at some honorary mentions because, as I said, there are so many that we didn't even mention. Say, Waiting to Exhale, Boomerang. So
yeah, because I thought we was doing 10, but okay.
No, I mean just go ahead. Any of the ones that you.
So for me, okay, y'all, I kind of got everything on this list. The Last Dragon. Okay. Remember that old movie from the Motown?
yeah.
I love that song. I mean that the soundtrack. So The Last Dragon. I'm gonna just run through them. Car Wash. That was a good soundtrack.
Is it the Snoop one?
No. The movie from the 70s.
School. Oh yeah, the 70s. Yeah.
I wanna get next to you. And the song Car Wash is originally from that movie.
Okay.
Car Wash.
Yeah.
And I'm Going Down is on that. The original I'm Going Down is on that soundtrack as well. So there's some gems on there. Sparkle, the 1976 movie. Their soundtrack was also done by written and produced by Curtis Mayfield, and Aretha Franklin sang it. And that's where we got giving him something he can feel that En Vogue would eventually remake.
Wow.
There's a lot of them. Batman. I put Batman on here because I love that song Scandalous.
So you know what?
And Sheena Easton was on there. Orion's. Yeah, it's kind of corny a little bit.
When I was compiling the list for the next month, as I said, guys, there's over 100 soundtracks. I saw Batman. I said, nah, I just
you put Shark Tale, but you did not put Batman. How dare you?
The Bat Dance. But so for me, there was
the Bat Dance that's a dope song. Anyway,
Life. I love the Life soundtrack.
Yeah.
R. Kelly did a good job of that. A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Love the Roger Chapman stuff in there. Set It Off. That was a massive. And I think the Set It Off was the film itself with the soundtrack. One that people might be surprised. Pulp Fiction.
That's a good soundtrack too.
It had Jungle. Was it Clinton Gang? Jungle Boogie. And it had some really good stuff in there.
They kind of compiled a lot of older songs, just like Dead Presidents did. That Dead Presidents soundtrack, The Big Chill and stuff like that. They compiled those old songs.
Did you remember Don't Do the Right Thing soundtrack?
Yeah, I did. I did kind of revisit that movie and that music recently. Yes, that was a
Yeah.
good one. Crooklyn's a good one.
Crooklyn was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
CB4.
Wild Wild West,
Yeah.
CB4. It was only like 2 songs on there I liked. Like obviously the Blackstreet song,
Yeah, the Black.
and I can't remember the other one, but yeah, it was okay. It was good.
Were you into Rihanna and Aaliyah? So Romeo Must Die.
I liked it. It was okay. It didn't really make an impact on me as far as I mean, I don't know that there was a lot of hits on there. It was okay. I liked it a little bit, but I like stuff like Honey. A lot of people don't talk about the movie Honey, but that soundtrack was off the hook. Honey and Step Up. Step Up was in the early 2000s as well. That was a good one. Save the Last Dance.
Yeah,
that was good. Like we don't give the 2000s enough love. What was the one that Lucy Pro was on?
Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball, right? Love and Basketball. Yeah, so it's a lot of good ones that we missed. But Have Plenty was a good one. Have Plenty. That had
was a good one. Yeah.
That was a good
Love
one.
Jones. I loved the film.
Love Jones.
And the album was
Brown Sugar.
Yeah, Brown Sugar was another one. Did you ever like Space Jam, the movie soundtrack?
Oh, I can't believe I forgot Space Jam. Oh yeah, that's why we have to make a part 3 then. No, no. So Space Jam was definitely one. I love that soundtrack. It gave us I Believe I Can Fly. It gave us what was the other one?
Yeah.
Oh, Come On the Train. Was it that one? And Ride It. Was that on there? I think that was on there. Come on, it's the choo choo train. It was so many. Oh, For You I Will. Monica, like one of her best songs. For You I Will. I love that song.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean,
some other stuff over there, but
yeah, I mean the Rush Hour soundtracks were pretty good because they introduced us to Def Jam, Def Soul. Drew Hill came from there. I mean there was so many that we'll get to sort of talk about and feature. So we probably will do a part 2 and start and probably be prepared to go in for some of some let's try and stretch ourselves and see if we could pick some pre-90s and post-90s, so something from the 70s and 80s and something from the 2000s and stuff. Because
I want people to be honest though. I want people to be honest. If that's your era and you love those things, then do it. But if you can, like I said, don't get them some love because sometimes we get focused on our era, but there's so many people that get forgotten. Like we don't talk about Stevie Wonder a lot. We don't talk about Marvin Gaye.
Isaac Hayes,
Yeah, I love those artists. Every now and again I listen to them. Every now and again when I get in the mood of a nostalgic mood. Not that I was from that era, but just like I like listening to older things to just get a feel for what used to be.
Yeah, and it seems as if there was space to do that. As I said, listening to Ice-T, then going back to discover Curtis Mayfield, listening to Snoop and Dre, and going back to discover the Dramatics. And all that, and in fact, I think in the 90s I listened to a lot more of Motown and the old 60s stuff than I did any other time, because in the 80s I was just listening to 80s stuff, but in the 90s I was actually going back and listening to some of the 60s stuff. So I don't know what I don't know what happened around the 90s that we were blessed with so much stuff, but because there was sampling, we were then going to listen to who are they sampling, and going back. As I said, West Coast stuff was sampling a lot of the 60s, Parliament and stuff like that. So I didn't know a lot of those stuff until Bootsy Collins and all these guys, because it's not that they weren't big when they came out, but you have to understand I'm coming from a more of an international sort of background. So, things that might come natural to you guys would, if they didn't cross the Atlantic to the UK or cross to Nigeria, I wouldn't be exposed to it. So,
but see, that's the good thing about what this platform we created is, like I said, is Can We Talk, a conversation about R&B, so we can share those different inspirations or those different musical, genres, or not genres, but musical projects that some people may not be aware of. Some people probably have never heard Superfly soundtrack. They probably never heard maybe New Jack City. So you just never know. So you mentioning who you mentioned, I mentioned who I mentioned, somebody might say, let me go check that out and see what he's talking about. And then they can get the experience as well. So
I'm probably, guys, what we will do in our next episode, we will look at soundtracks from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that you might have not have even thought about, because I love the 90s stuff was very popular, and just being able to explore and stuff like that. But I remember when I interviewed Lily, and she said she was inspired by Stacey
Ladisor.
I'm like, oh, who's that? I'd never heard of her. And somebody says, you never heard of Stacey? I said, no, because I was in the UK, and if she wasn't big here, how would I know? It's like Stephanie Mills. Chaka Khan was big in Nigeria and in the UK. Hardly any one of us knew Stephanie Mills. Yeah, until I moved to the States in '92, and I heard a bit about her, but she wasn't. By that time, she wasn't. Not by '92, '93, she wasn't as big as she was, say, '89 and '90. So I've never really rated Stephanie Mills the same way as people who were born and raised in America, who've always seen her, have. It's just because, as I said, I'm coming from a very much of an international perspective on people who crossed the Atlantic, crossed the continent, and made it big. So it's important to try and remember that. And because I moved to the States in '92, I was there until 2003. So a lot of the '90s music I was there listening to, and I was so ingrained. I worked at Best Buy, during my, I worked in the music department. So I used to, play rinse the Blackstreets Another Level, because I could control what was played in the store out in Milwaukee. And I'll play that. I'll play the New Edition, Home Alone, Home Again. Anyway, I digress. But guys, we appreciate that you guys are a part of the community and parts of what we're doing here. The comments are really empowering, helps us to realize people are engaging. Remember, everything we do with, I don't want anyone who loves Prince to hate me. I'm speaking both Omar and I speak fun. It's all about having fun. And
so
stuff.
It's okay for the New Edition fans to hate me, but no, I'm just playing. Nobody hates anybody here, guys. It's all love. We all have our own opinions and our own tastes.
Yeah, as I said,
guys.
We will. You know what? As a result, we will celebrate Prince, because I'll because Omar will. I'll ask Omar to help me out and just talk about Prince, because you mentioned songs that I've never heard of by Prince, and it's like, okay, I only know some of the big hits. Same way Charlie Wilson, we took some flack, but it was all in good spirits and stuff. So thanks for being part of the community and helping us to grow and really talk music. We're celebrating Black music. No, I shouldn't say Black music. We're celebrating R&B music, because no one's going to forget the Doobie Brothers or Hall & Oates. No one's going to forget John B. and people who really contributed to Tina Marie, people who've really contributed to music and stuff. So we're celebrating music, and that's all we love to do. So thanks for everyone for the support and stuff.
All right. See you next time.
All right. Thanks again for watching, guys.
And before we go, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
Yeah, and also remember to turn on the notification so you can know when we have another show. But thanks again.
That too.